Oh, good morning. We'll call this first meeting of 2024 to order. First thing is the approval of the agenda, and we have one addition.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, with that, we'll go into our employee recognitions, and we have one today. I know it's a face that's been around here for many, many years. And for 25 years of work with the county, Dean Winkles. Hope I pronounced that last word right. So from the Clay County Board of Commissioners for 25 years of service to our county, thank you very much for staying around. I know you must be a good worker if you're staying around that long. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Just clear a minute. Ryan, you got a few words you want to say for him? Oh, Joe, excuse me.
Well, Dean's probably been on our department longest out of everybody, so he's seen everything come and go so far. A lot of changes on the campus since he started. He's probably one of the more dedicated guys. When it snows, he's here at 3 in the morning trying to get it clean so you guys can get into the buildings. Always willing to help out and do whatever we need.
Thank you very much. Okay, next thing we got approval of payment of bills and vouchers.
So offered.
Second.
We got a motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Got minutes from December the 19th to be approved.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, we jumped over citizens to be heard.
Again, I did that. Are there any citizens that wish to speak that's not on the agenda and on the computer?
Nothing, Mr. Chair.
Okay. There, we got that out of the way for one last time. Okay, we'll do the state of the county address now. Everybody get your coffee and popcorn and good idea to leave there, okay. So good morning and happy new year to all. 2023 has been another successful year at Clay County that has brought change, transitions, opportunities, and growth. As a part of a strategic plan, the Clay County Board of Commissioners has approved the building of a new withdrawal management detox facility. Groundbreaking took place in May of this year. We are excited that this new facility will double our current capacity to 32 beds and provide an opportunity to serve more clients who require withdrawal management services. With the redevelopment of the Moorhead Center Mall, and after looking at a variety of options in June, the board approved building a new DMV facility. The state of Minnesota testing has expressed their interest in again co-locating, which will provide enhanced services to the citizens of Clay County. Both building projects are scheduled to be completed by the end of 2024. The County Recorder's Office continues to undertake projects to increase efficiency and consistency in real estate recording. This year, the Recorder's Office started collecting the deed and mortgage registration taxes for all the recorded documents. This change improves the process for document submitters. The Recorder's Office continues to issue birth and death certificates for the state and marriage records. These records assist individuals in retaining their real ID, which will be needed in May of 2025 to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. In May, county appraisal personnel started working on mass appraisal in portions of the county. There was an overall decrease in the number of recorded valid sales compared to last year. But the sales prices continue to be strong for agricultural acreage and for rural and urban residential properties. County Assessor Nancy Gunnison retired in 2023. We wish her well in her retirement. In October, Lake County welcomed Jill Murray as the new county assessor. The Planning and Zoning Department is working on an update to the 2012 Clay County Land Development Code. There will be multiple opportunities for public input during the Planning Commission meetings up until anticipated adoption in summer of 2024. The Veteran Service Office continues to see an increase in new veterans that we serve. The county continues to focus on serial homeless identified veterans in Clay County. Our VSO also participates in Clay County Veterans Court and our local Beyond the Yellow Ribbon organization. This year, Kurt Cannon, our Veteran Service Officer, testified in support of the Department of Motor Vehicle Benefits for veterans, which ultimately passed legislation. Public health continues to provide services for family health, adult health, school nursing, public health, clinic, environmental health, and WIC. In addition to positive community norms, Grant works in partnership with the school district and community of DGF. Through engagement and education, this program has shown that over 90% of students chose not to drink, vape, or use marijuana. Public Health was able to add an opioid program management using funds from federal opioid settlement dollars. Progress is being made on a systematic community response to opioid overdoses to help connect those in need with timely and appropriate resources. Clay County Social Services continues to administer over 40 different state and federal programs for individuals and families in need. Clay County was awarded state funds to address family homelessness prevention and affordable housing needs. Requests for proposals were issued, and funds were subsequently awarded to those separate community providers. We are excited about the utilization of these funds and are confident they will make a difference in our community. Along with housing, social services has been focusing on how to best address the high acuity mental health needs of both children and adults in our communities. The County Attorney's Office continues to work toward promoting justice, public safety, and effective government. The County Attorney's Office opened more than 2,000 unique cases over the past year, enforcing laws from traffic matters, misdemeanor matters, property crimes, to more serious personal crimes such as burglary, robbery, serious assaults, and murders. The office works closely with all other Clay County departments on a series of matters. The office further works with social services regarding child in need of protection and services cases. The victim service officers served over 800 victims with matters for affidavits of loss, victim impact statements, and navigating them through the court system. Sheriff Empton was sworn in for his second term as Clay County Sheriff in January of 2023. Chief Deputy Lanson retired early in 23. We wish him well in his retirement and thank him for his years of service. Clay County has welcomed Chief Deputy Chris Martin. The Sheriff Department continues to see an increase in calls for service. Sheriff Empton has worked closely with the Commission to ensure the needs of citizens are being met. In 2024, the Sheriff's Office received approval to add 2 additional deputies using public safety funds provided by the Minnesota State Legislature. The Sheriff's Office also started the chaplain program, which focuses on deputy wellness and mental health. We are pleased to be able to provide our deputies with this ongoing support. The West Central Regional Juvenile Center continues to operate one of the most effective juvenile facilities in the state. The West Central Regional Juvenile Center provides many sought-after services for Clay County youth and its members throughout the region. As many programs continue to close its doors in 2023, the West Central Juvenile Center has adapted to the changes and continues to meet the needs of its many users. Lake County continues to partner with state probation and parole agents. In 2023, these agents supervised and served approximately 1,031 adults within the community and 84 juvenile cases. The probation department continues to oversee the Sentence to Serve program. This program provides individuals the opportunity to work off court fines by helping cities, townships, and nonprofit organizations through a restorative justice program. The GIS and Communications Department is working on a redesign of the county website to enhance usability for over 80,000 monthly visitors. The redesigned website will go live on March 5th, 2024. The Auditor Treasurer's Office is responsible for the collection of taxes, distribution of revenues, classifying tax assessment ratings, paying the county bills, county payroll, and certifying our county process to meet the government standards of acceptable practices. The Auditor Treasurer Office plays an important role with our election process and has been diligently preparing for the elections to come in 2024. Clay County Human Services continues to be busy providing quality service for the 640 employees. Changes to Minnesota state law have had staff working diligently to ensure the county is in compliance with all mandates. The Resource Recovery Center opened in February and has been very well received by both public and commercial haulers, providing excellent service in a cost-effective manner that continues to be a goal. Clay County has partnered with other counties and cities to explore additional ways to better serve the taxpayer in dealing with waste. The Highway Department has a challenging winter due to wind and the amount of snow. As the snow melted, it led to flooding conditions throughout the county, resulting in a FEMA flood event. The Highway Department focused on its 5-year construction plan, starting the first year of a multi-year project on CSA 26, utilized grant dollars on CSA 18, and replacing multiple bridges and culverts throughout the county. The Highway Department worked closely with our Facilities Director in completing the construction of new buildings in Comstock, Ulen, Georgetown, and a cold storage building, replacing the visible tent off I-94 at the Joint Highway Facility. The County Board recently adopted the annual budget and tax levy for the year of 2024. The total expenses for 2024 are estimated to be $113,466,567. The revenue resource necessary to cover these expenses include a $42,601,700 property tax levy, state aids, numerous grants, services, and utilization of fund balance. Clay County witnessed a net growth in the new construction of 1.20%, leading to a net levy increase of 3.60 for 2024. In closing, I would like to recognize Commissioner Ebinger, Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Mojo, and Commissioner Kravinoff, and express gratitude for your dedicated service and ongoing leadership over the past year. On behalf of the Clay County Board of Commissioners, we'd like to thank our citizens for allowing us to honor to serve in this capacity. We are committed to providing the service you have come to expect in the most efficient, cost-effective, and professional manner possible. I would also like to extend appreciation to our Clay County employees for their dedication in completing the day-to-day duties that serve the needs of our citizens and complete the vision of this board. We look forward to the opportunities and challenges that 2024 brings. Please feel free to contact any of the county commissioners or county administrator at any time with thoughts, feedbacks, or suggestions. Thank you and best wishes for a wonderful 2024. Now there's more work to be done. And first thing on the agenda is the election of a chair for 2024. Lynn?
I'd like to make a motion that Commissioner Eberger will be our new chair,
I'll
2024.
second the motion.
Okay, we got a motion and second to elect Dave Ebinger as the new chair. Any further nominations? Do you have to say that 3 times?
You're the chair.
Nominations are closed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Miss-
I do the vice chair, or does he?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Commissioner Kravinoff as our, or Commissioner Campbell, excuse me, as our vice chair for 2024.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to appoint Commissioner Campbell as our vice chair. Any further nominations? Nominations are closed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Everybody gets to switch now?
Before we switch, I'd like to just publicly thank Commissioner Gross. You have done a fantastic job as chair of this board over the last year, and just so very thankful for all the work you do. I know being chair takes a little bit extra effort, and you're always willing to answer a phone call, an email, and attend any meeting really that you've been invited to. So always grateful to serve with you, Frank. I count you as one of my great friends, and thanks for the last year.
Well, thank you very much, but, working with you guys, you made this job easy. It's, you guys did the work, so thank you so much for it.
Well, while you're still there, Commissioner Gross, I would like to echo that, and I would also like to make a motion recognizing you for your excellent year of leadership and your wonderful way of communicating with the public, so that I'm making that in the form of a motion.
I'll second that, and you're leaving big shoes to fill, and you've been a good mentor as I've come on as a new commissioner, and I'm grateful.
Thank you. We'll have to vote on that motion, I guess. Okay.
We do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I hope not. Okay.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, now we're set.
We're gonna take like a break.
We're going to take a short break now.
Okay, we're back in session. And the next order of business is to establish Board of Commissioners meeting schedule for 2024.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the schedule as put in our packet with outlining specific dates of June 18th, 2024, which will be held at 5 p.m. with the Board of Equalization meeting to follow at 6:30 p.m. December 3rd, 2024 will be held at 5 p.m. with Truth and Taxation meeting to follow at 6 p.m. And no board meeting on December 10th of 2024 due to the AMC Annual Conference.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next on the agenda is request for approval for resolution 2024-01 and 2023-04 for newspaper designations and corresponding memorandum of understandings for 2024.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-1 designating the Holly Herald as the official county newspaper for 24.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for resolution 2401, designating the Holly Herald as our paper. Any discussion? Not all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-02, designated the Barnesville Record Review per printing and notice of real property taxes and penalties for 2024.
I'll second.
I have motion second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, just a note of this, I think in some of these instances, what we do is we move these on a rotating schedule. Steve, are we still doing that, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
So, for the public's information, some of what we're doing here, we rotate around so each of these entities have an opportunity to provide that service.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I'll make a motion to resolve that Clay County Union is hereby designated by the Clay County Board of Commissioners to publish the first printing of Clay County financial statement, resolution number 2024-03.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Mr. Chair, I would move resolution 2024-04 designate the extra for the second printing of the Clay County financial statement for 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the corresponding newspaper MOUs.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the MOU. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I think that completes all the, yep, that's all of them. Okay, next we have a request for approval to purchase a compactor for the landfill.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners.
Corey
Thank you for
Bang and
having
Brett
us.
Rice, welcome. Corey?
We are here this morning to request permission to purchase a new compactor for the landfill. We try to replace these machines every 6 years. We're on year 7, or will be on year 7 of our compactor. We elected to not replace it last year due to having another machine that needed to be replaced faster. So we went with a loader last year, and we're asking for a compactor to be replaced. It would actually be ordered now and not delivered till 2025. The cost of the compactor comes in at $1,185,660 after trade of our old compactor. We were hoping to get $30,000 out of our old compactor, but they only gave us 23, or only offering 23. So that brings the price down a little bit. We did get 2 bids, one on a CAT machine, one on a BOMAG. The BOMAG came in at $1,288,000, and the CAT came in at $1,208,000. The funds for this would come out of our internal service. We will have to borrow some money within our internal service account to pay for this, as we only have about half of it for our compactor in there at this point. The rest of our equipment is all relatively new, so we won't be replacing those in a while. And I've talked to Lori, and she agrees that we can borrow the money and get it paid back before we need to replace anything else. So with that, I will yield to questions.
Any questions? Ms. Campbell?
Mr. Chair, no questions, but some comments. This was discussed quite significantly at our Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting. We had presentations from both of those proposals, good presentations, and I think it came with a recommendation from from Brett with Landfill, with Corey, and as well as the operators themselves. The 2 bids were fairly close in price. The fact that the Caterpillar compactor is also local really made a big difference for us, with the ability to have people on site when needed. So certainly SWAC supported that decision and that request, so they brought that forward as well. So With that, Mr. Chair, I would move the approval of the request to purchase the CAT compactor.
Second the motion?
Okay, have a motion for approval and a second. Any further discussion?
Why is the trade-in value so low? I mean, when you're paying $1 million for, and I mean, I'm not opposed to getting this, but I'm just saying, why is there such a low trade-in value for a compactor?
It's a pretty unique machine. Not a lot of people want them. Nobody wants to take a machine that's been worked hard for 7 years, and that's just how it is.
Okay, just the way it is, okay. It just seemed like a low,
We debated on keeping the machine ourselves as a backup machine. When we started looking into the cost of some of the repairs that may need to be done in the future, some of the repairs are worth more than what the machine's worth. So we just elected to just trade it in at this time and be done with it. So
Pretty much a scrap value.
it's a really expensive lawn ornament if some of those things break down, so.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you. I might echo the sentiments that Commissioner Campbell shared, that it really was something we discussed over 2 months' worth of meetings. Another one of the comments was in regards to the funds, if there's funds available in that account, because we have a internal service account on that specific item, we'll have the funds to make the purchase. So I also agree. I think the CAT compactor is exactly what our needs are out at the landfill, and certainly helps that it was the lower bid of the two.
Any further discussion? Okay. Have a motion to authorize the purchase of the CAT compactor for $1,208,660 less trade-in. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion
Thank you.
passes. Next on the agenda, we've got a request, approval of the Lakeland mental health contract for services provided at the West Central Regional Juvenile Center for 2024. We got James O'Donnell, the director, with us. James?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm here today to request permission to sign the 2024 contract with Lakeland Mental Health. They've been providing a 30-day evaluation program in our non-secure program. They provide us with a psychiatrist, which would be a psychiatric med provider, a psychologist, and then care coordination with any other types of services a 30-day evaluation would need, whether it be family, chemical dependency, et cetera. The cost for the contracts overall is $83,784. It's a 3.5% increase from last year, which I believe is more than fair. And in addition, Lakeland doesn't make any money off this program. It's pretty hard to find these professionals and get them all in a group together and coordinating something. So it's a pretty critical resource for us.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that, and just with that in mind, another thing to keep in mind, even though this is referred to as West Central Regional, the non-secure unit is strictly a Clay County unit. And so this investment goes to benefit the kids that we have here in Clay County. So I just as a point of clarification on that, so.
I think it's important for the public to realize we are fortunate in a state where resources for juvenile, not just detention, but juvenile mental health is critical and in many places absent. We've got a really remarkable resource in West Central Juvenile. And key to that is the services Lakeland, the mental health services that are provided, in this case through Lakeland, and for a cost. So I think we're fortunate to have that on board. Is there any more discussion? Okay, all in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Motion passes. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. No, I'm sorry.
To the assignment.
Oh, yes, we've got a addition that I missed. We've got committee assignments.
Mr. Chair, if I can, in reviewing this, I think there's one, this does not show the change for the two committees that have we have a standing procedure where the chair and the vice chair serve on the PIC committee as well as the audit investment committee. And the current list here does not recognize those changes, that those two would be moved from Commissioner Mojo to Commissioner Ebinger as the current chair, and Frank would stay in that position as past chair. So the Personal Issues Committee and the Audit Investment Committee should be added to the chair's portfolio.
Okay, I noticed that too. Steve, if we've got that handled. Any other changes that any of the commissioners can see in their committee assignments?
I have,
Mr. Kravinoff?
yes. So I have a question, and Dave, you can help me with this one. I know I've been on the Greater Fargo-Moorhead Economic Development. Now with their change of governance, I think I am no longer on that. Is that correct?
I'm not familiar with that, Steve.
Yeah, I believe under the new structure, there may be some other committee opportunities, but I think the at-large position that Commissioner Kravinoff was allowed to participate through the Greater Fargo-Moorhead Economic Development is no longer available.
Oh, I'm thinking EDC. Yeah, okay, correct. That is, as the governance stands, there was only one position
Right.
that would serve both on the executive and on the board, but only one individual from Clay County. And the executive position right now is being discussed, so
Right.
that is something that,
Mr. Chair, would it make sense to have Commissioner Krabnoff as an alternate, though?
I think it would.
If it would,
It's, I'm fine with that if that fits their structure.
Right. If
Yeah.
it's within their bylaw, I agree with that we should, maybe we could keep it on there with the alternate designation in the event that it's approved by their governance.
Yeah, I will discuss that. We can, I think, probably keep Commissioner Krabinoff as an alternate because that position is a Clay County position and not an at-large position that they've filled with a Clay County. And if there's a problem with that, I'll bring it back before the commission and we can discuss.
Mr. Chair, I know Steve sent out an email last week. We'd had discussions about the HRA and making sure that we have a continuing dialogue with them to maybe further understand where the levy requests come from. And I know we're working towards having that meeting, but you also proposed the potential of having someone have a committee assignment to that board to report back to us as well. Is that something that this board is interested in?
Well, I brought it up in talking with them when they were there because it seems it's a significant ask on the part of the citizens, and it's something that we only hear from them so rarely, and we have many of our, it's just nice to have somebody who can report back, whether they meet quarterly or something, to report back to us on the ongoings that are there, especially for the investment that we're putting into that. So I think it would be appropriate.
I think given the investment and given, there is a communication gap there. I think we were all caught a little by surprise at the Moorhead Public Housing Authority had become under their auspices without any information being provided to this commission. So I think that's something we would support. What is the procedure we'd need to do on that? Would that be a vote of this commission to make a position within the board?
I think they need to see.
I think we need to have a motion, yes, to appoint somebody to that.
Yeah, but doesn't HRA say they're going to accept someone, or
Well,
we can't just say where we go?
we're not appointing someone to their board. We're appointing one of our commissioners to have it part of their committee assignments to attend their meetings and report back to us.
And Mr. Chair, Commissioner Gross, I have talked with Darley, and if that were the board's wishes to have a liaison between our board and their commission, she would be open to that.
When do they hold the meetings?
They're monthly meetings, but their first meeting that they would be looking to have our commission participate in would probably be April. They have an annual meeting in February. I think we're planning to have a meeting with them, our commission's in March. And so the first meeting would be April that this person would be, this commissioner would be participating.
So, Mr. Chair, for dialogue, Commissioner Krabanoff has the AMC Health and Human Services portfolio and is understanding of what funds are maybe being made available at the state. Would that be something that
I have great interest in it.
you would have an interest? I think that would be helpful to understand that better. Certainly makes more sense than one of us that has like ditches on there. You know what I mean?
And I think, if I may, I think it fits with the homeless, or the housing part that I've been helping social services with on the RFPs and other factors, so.
Well, I might then make a motion to appoint, to add the HRA committee as part of Commissioner Krabanoff's portfolio.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and you do accept?
Yes,
My
that'd be
motion-
as a liaison.
My motion would reflect the standard per diem that we do with all these other committees.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? All right.
Mr. Chair, if I can too, I don't know how you want to do this, but I'm jumping around, but I know there's the West Central Regional Water District Steering Committee. I think originally, I guess on here now, I'm not showing as an alternate. I think originally Frank was the designee and I was the alternate. I really think now as we're developing into this and with the percentage that we are, I think we're going to be like 38% of the total base of that thing. I think we should both be listed as delegates to that group to get proper representation. Now on here, I don't know, on my particular column, it doesn't show me as an alternate, but I believe the original designation was that. And so I think that we should highly recommend to that group that Clay County not have one representative, but two, and instead of one and an alternate. So
May I ask, the current structure right now, are there, does Polk have two?
well, right now Polk usually has two going to the meetings.
Got it.
But again, I think it should be based on the new determination of the size. And if you have 38% of something, you should probably have more than one.
What's the percentage Polk's got?
Well, there's only 3 counties, and I think Polk and us are fairly, we have the highest, and then it's Polk, and then it's Norman.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
and that's something that maybe we can come back to, but maybe Steve can reach out on our behalf with that. But
Yeah, I think once they decide once the water district itself decides what kind of complement they're gonna have, they haven't decided yet either who's all gonna be on the board.
right,
So,
yeah.
until that time, I think you got a good idea there.
But would a motion help in that conversation that we support this idea?
I think my opinion, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Campbell, would be is that as has been mentioned, both counties have had multiple commissioners on, and so I think it would be an internal decision made on our behalf to identify both of them as the main.
Representing Clay County.
Yeah.
I agree. I would then make a motion for clarification because I believe Commissioner Campbell's recollection is correct that both Commissioner Gross and Commissioner Campbell would be delegates to the West Central Regional Water District Steering Committee.
No, second that.
Okay, have a motion second that Commissioner Campbell and Commissioner Gross be representatives on the West Central Regional Water District.
And Mr. Chair, if I, as Commissioner Gross mentioned, we're still in that phase now where it's going to the courts to establish that district. And the future of what that governing board might look like might not have any county commissioners on it. It might look more like the watershed. But for now, until we get to that level, it's important that Clay County has representation and voice. So I just that clarification that ultimately it's going to be a judge who decides what the governance is going to look like on that process.
But having adequate representation while governance is being determined is pretty important. So
Yes.
I think having both of you there is going to be a benefit to Clay County. Any other discussion? Okay, I have a motion to designate Commissioner Campbell and Commissioner Gross as representatives on the West Central Regional Water District Steering Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Okay, any other discussion on 2024 Commission and Committee assignments? Steve, you need anything clarified?
Just, Mr. Chair, thank you. Just in clarifying, each of you, as was mentioned earlier, have a policy assignment through AMC. Over the weekend, we did receive a letter from the Association of Minnesota Counties requesting our board chair and all policy committee assignments. Basically, assuming those would stay the same, I'm able to put that down and provide that.
I think we're current on that. Any observations on that?
The only additional, Mr. Chair, if I may, would be the subcommittees that we'd talked about. Is it broadband? There's a couple more that I don't think we have anyone assigned to, and just making sure that we do, because then we'll be part of those email chains. Do you know which?
We don't have those designees yet at this time, Commissioner Mojo.
Have we been asked to have a designee?
We have not been asked at this point, but I think this board had talked about having me reach out to AMC about that.
Do they have meetings or?
Yeah, during all of our conferences, they have breakout sessions for those, and I'm just pulling up AMC now, understanding that we all have the 5 main policy committees, but I'm trying to,
Because MRC discusses it each time pretty much.
So does AMC Transportation. That's it.
It's almost on everybody's agenda already.
right, so, if you look at the ag, or the advisory committees and task forces, they have the Futures Committee, which I think our administrator is part of the Futures. The U of M Extension, which I serve as chair, but they have tribal relations. But the Ag and Rural Development one is an important one that I think Clay County should be part of, as well as the broadband.
Do they say how often those meet? Or?
Those meet typically with the rotation of our AMC training ones.
I guess we'd have to find out when they meet before we can.
Right, they don't meet outside of like a monthly normal, like any of our other committee assignments, but it's, for instance, I serve on Extension, and so Extension meets 3 times a year, and then more frequently if we're working on the MOU, which we are right now. But certainly I think, and we can look further into the other ones, but I think the broadband and the ag and rural development forums are really important for us to have a seat at the table.
Mr. Chair, in thinking about what Commissioner Mojo said on that ag one, one of the areas that we when we had our last meeting with the public here, there was an awful lot of conversation about ag and where that tax had shifted to, and it seems to me that we should have somebody, and you know, I think we've got somebody to my right here who's fairly active, involved with ag issues, and it kind of fits into some degree with extension, I think. So it would make sense maybe to, if it's allowed to Clay County to have somebody, that we would appoint Commissioner Mojo to sit in that ag policy group or subcommittee that AMC has.
Steve, could you make inquiry into that and the broadband and see what the requirements are? I agree, Commissioner Mojo has got qualifications on the, most certainly on the ag. And broadband is an issue that affects our county, or a large part of our county.
And I will say, Mr. Chair, that in our transportation committee, there's an awful lot of discussion on broadband there. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of the funding that ends up coming out of the legislature for broadband actually goes through the transportation subcommittee, so.
You'd be a good fit on that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it because I've been a part of that dialogue for quite some time at the AMC, but again, we'll see where that goes, and I would hope that some of those could be meetings that we could have virtually, so we don't have to have a lot of travel to the cities for these little meetings.
They do not involve additional travel outside of what our
Yeah.
already training obligations are. And I certainly would like to serve on that if that works. Steve, if you could bring that back, that would be helpful.
On the ag,
Yes.
yeah. Perfect. Support both of them. But you don't want a motion for him now?
I think we have to find out whether we're allowed to be on those or whatever.
And Steve, if you can bring it back, we can consider a motion at that time to make it as part of their.
I think right now, this is just a discussion anyway of these assignments.
Yeah, and we normally wait till the next week to approve this, don't we? Isn't that been the standard procedure that?
Yeah, you can do it either way. We did have a brief discussion on it last week, but we certainly can hold off till next week.
No, unless anybody has any other changes, I don't see any reason why we.
Sure.
Because AMC likes to know, right, on some of these.
That's correct, yep. And the last piece is, I know that we always make the decision in November, and then they come back about our voting delegates for appointment for 2024 now. We did it for 2023. We have the 5 commissioners in the last year. We had myself, Justin Sorum, our highway engineer, and Matt Jacobson as our planning and zoning person. And so I would be looking for a discussion on also that piece, if you wish to keep those the same for 2024.
Discuss that now, as opposed, yeah. I think that's a good representation. Are these employees interested in remaining?
They're willing to continue to serve, yeah.
Okay.
So we're deciding who's going to be a voting delegate in December now, when we're not sure who's going to be able to attend or not yet. Unless, I mean, I think right now the idea is that we would all be able to go, but at what point in time do we have the ability to switch that?
So we'll have the ability again this fall. They asked by their bylaws to have it done both at the beginning of the year and then prior to the annual meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, if there were one of us who was not going to be able to be there for one reason or another, and if we couldn't change that,
Right.
then we're shorting ourselves.
Sure.
Well, that's a separate deal than this. That's not listed as these voting delegates for the AMC conference is not part of this.
No,
City
but
assignment.
it's part of the bylaws
Yeah.
request. But
I guess what I was saying is that takes a separate motion than
Yes.
the motion to approve this. And so, Mr. Chair, I would move that for now, we maintain the same voting delegates for 2024 as we had in 2023 for the
I'll
AMC
second.
annual conference.
Okay. Motion to second. Further discussion on the voting delegates for AMC. The motion is that they remain the same as they were this year. With no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay. We'll keep the same voting delegates. Unless things change, we'll reconsider it before the fall meeting.
Unless you're really wanting to put it to next week, I'm comfortable making a motion for our assignment. I mean, we've discussed them thoroughly. I don't know what's going to change.
Only thing that I see that would change is the subcommittees for AMC.
We can add those.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we approve the 2024 Commissioner Committee assignments as discussed and as written, and the motions that we've had just prior this morning to be included.
Second that motion.
Have motion second. I think primarily the main change we've got is the West Central Regional Water District indicating both Commissioner Campbell and Commissioner Gross as representatives for the county on that, and moving the PIC and the audit investment assignments to me, and then and Frank.
HRA.
And, yes, and then the HRA liaison to Commissioner Grabenoff. Am I missing anything?
Just one clarification, I did add in the bottom, on the bottom section for the board, per diem be approved for the Clay County HRA if it would be separate, a separate meeting. In addition to the intergovernmental retreat, AMC district meetings, all meetings through AMC, and then Lakeland Mental Health annual meeting.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, indicate with aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. We will move on now to committee reports and start with Commissioner Gross.
No reports.
Commissioner Krabenoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a couple quick ones, being I wasn't able to make the meeting last week. So December 19th, I participated as a co-chair for the Adult Mental Health LAC. Just real briefly, we had a really good presentation as our spotlight from Gull Harbor and all the work they do in South Moorhead. Intensive residential treatment facility, 16 beds. And the other thing that I find important about this, it is a for-profit, but this entity, when they're having a hard time getting fully staffed with mental health professionals, but when they do, the 16 beds that are over there, 4 of them are specifically designated for crisis response for people there, and they can live there for a maximum of 14 days in their early part of treatment. Also, the group will continue working on their work plan and making of an annual report that they'll present to us in May, which will be Mental Health Month, and they'll give it to us at that time. Also, on the 20th, I was part of the Greater Fargo Moorhead EDC. Davey did a great job in reporting on that as I listened online. Later in that day, I was part of the Clay Historical and Cultural Society with our monthly meeting. And kind of the takeaway from that is just taking care of final things that were, as far as financial reports, those things toward the end of the year. And then a quick recap on Concordia, which was a very interesting topic to be talking about, in the fact that they bought a Episcopal building that had closed down in 1887 and 1991 is when a Norwegian group came together and started Concordia. Became a 4-year degree college in 1917, and along with that, the most popular class at that time was learning English. So anyway, very popular study because it was mainly Norwegian. Language villages began in 1961, and a little other note, other than I believe it was the one academy, Concordia with their class rings is the first college to have class rings in 1920. How about that? That's my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Mojo?
No committee reports, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Campbell?
No reports.
The only report I have is I did on Friday, the 29th, attend the retirement party for Murray Philippi, the Red River Regional Dispatch Center Executive Director. I just want to thank her for 36 years of service. Sheriff Empting was there and presented her with a plaque, but she started out 36 years ago as a Clay County employee because the Clay County Sheriff's Office ran the dispatch center. She transitioned over to become a Moorhead employee when the city of Moorhead took over the dispatch center. And then 21 or 22 years ago, when Red River Regional Dispatch Center was formed, she went to work there. She was the assistant director for a while, and then we selected her as the executive director, I want to say 10 years ago. But she's retiring and not going to quit working. She's going to work with former Cass County Sheriff Paul Laney, doing national trainings for leadership in law enforcement agencies. And we wish her good luck, and we thank her for a lot of good service. She's done a remarkable job of keeping the standards up at RRDC, and she's going to leave some big shoes to fill. So thank you to Mary. Steve?
Just a couple things to report. I had department head evaluation on the 28th. And also that afternoon, I met with Lori Johnson in regards to the upcoming bond documents. So I got several calls coming over the next week with Ellers and S&P for our bond rating call. Just two things of note. The board is responsible on a number of different assignments to committees with our citizens. Was notified this past week that Extension is going to have 3 committee openings. One of our assigned people is asked to step down out of their role, and then there are 2 people that have reached their term limits. So if there's anyone as commissioners that you have think would be great to serve in that capacity, to let myself know or Cecilia. And so there'll be information there. The second item is, Commissioner Mojo mentioned, I think back in December, that our appointment, Mike McCarthy, former commissioner on the Lakeland Mental Health Board, is not going to be seeking reappointment. And so his term ends on February 26th. And so Lakeland Mental Health is looking for the board to appoint someone else to serve a 3-year term starting in February. And so if you have anyone there of interest, to let us know. That concludes my report.
Commissioner Cravenall?
Yeah, want to add, Mr. McCarthy, he also termed out with the collaborative, and so we'll need a spot for that also.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Steve, we have an area on our website that has openings for boards and commissions, correct?
Yes.
So that's 2 committees. I know of Lakes and Prairies has an opening as well. As the year begins and we have new meetings for all of our committees, make sure that you communicate any openings to Steve and we can get get those posted.
Very good. Any additional? Steve, any additional from you?
Nothing else, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mike?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
All right. And Jackie? Well, you always have something when Frank was chair. I feel slighted. Okay. Well, we'll adjourn the meeting.